Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Built by Reese YouTube video. Today I'm going to be showing you something that I already built and is very personal to me, and that is going to be my bedroom. So this is my college bedroom in my college house that I've been living in for 2 years now, and I'm actually making this video for two reasons. The first reason is to give you guys some inspiration or some tips if you guys are moving into your first college bedroom or just moving into your own place or have your own room for really the first time. And the second reason is actually to document what this room looks like because I am moving out in 5 days. So this video is kind of bittersweet. I'm glad I can show off the final version of this room, but it's also very sad that I am soon going to be tearing it all down and moving everything out of it. So the plan for this video is to go through and show you guys some of the different decoration and design choices that I made, along with show you some products I got and give you my idea or my review on if they were worth it in the long run. So this video is going to be split up into a few different parts. The first part is just going to be my furniture. The second part is going to be some of the decor. The third part is going to be the different technology. And the final part is going to be my desk setup. So for the first and kind of only furniture in my room is going to be, of course, my bed. So this is the IKEA BRIMNES bed frame that I got in black. So this has been a super solid bed frame for me, and one of the nicest parts about it is all of the different storage options that it has. So in this bedroom, the closet's kind of small, there's not really a place for a dresser, there's not a lot of storage, so your bed having a bunch of storage built in is a super nice feature. So as you can see, you have these kind of box shelves along the side that you can put anything in. You have a nice bar on the top, which is where I keep my alarm clock, my phone charger, anything else you want to have close to you at night. And then down below are these big shelves. It has two big shelves on each side where you can put extra clothes, shoes, or just any kind of storage. And this came in super clutch for me because my closet is very small and I have a lot of clothes. And overall, over 2 years, it's held up super nice. Everything stayed together. There's no scratches or dinks, nothing fell apart. Definitely would recommend this bed frame. And besides my desk that we're going to talk about later, that's kind of the only furniture I have in here. So now we're going to move on to the technology. And the first piece of technology that we're going to talk about is something you probably saw during the bed B-roll, and that is my Nanoleaf lights that are above my bed. Now I have a lot of mixed emotions about these lights. They're super nice, they're super cool. The downsides I've had with them is that I've had a couple of the controllers die out of nowhere when they try to update, or when you unplug them, they just brick themselves. That's happened to me 2 or 3 times. Now the Nanoleaf support is pretty nice. If you get in contact with them, they'll usually send you out a controller. It takes a week or week and a half, which is not ideal. So I definitely wouldn't say I fully recommend these, but they are really cool. And these are on the pricier side, but I only bought one of the starter packs for full price, and the rest of them I actually got off of Facebook Marketplace and eBay for pretty cheap. So if you want to scavenge around and look for a good secondhand deal, they're definitely out there. Now what I like most about these lights is they look nice on your wall, both when they're on and off. They're not kind of the LED strips going all around the ceiling like everyone used to have back when I was in high school. And you can do different things with them. You can have them be just a nice white color to add extra light to your room, which is what I'm doing right now. Or you can have them do different types of designs or different types of patterns and also go with different music. And the last thing about these is they do get super, super bright. I'm actually using them kind of as a light right now because my overhead light doesn't provide a ton of light for me, especially it's kind of dark out right now. And I'll just show you guys the difference of when these things are on and when they're off. So they definitely add a lot of light to your room. So the next two things we have are kind of art on my wall. I have these album covers. I actually got these when I moved in to my dorm my sophomore year, which it's hard to say that that was almost 3 years ago now. So some of them are a little dated. They're already old albums anyway, but they are a little more dated now. But this is just a super cool way to kind of add some personal touch to your room. I don't remember exactly where I got them from, but I know they weren't very expensive. They're kind of small and you can kind of put them anywhere. The only thing I will say is if you are going to hang these up, please get a measuring tape and a level and make them look nice. Otherwise, it will drive me crazy. And the next thing I have on that same wall is this picture frame that is full of stickers. Now, I like to collect stickers when I go traveling, and I realized that I kind of just collect them and put them in a box and let them sit there. And so one day I decided, I went to Walmart and I just picked up any picture frame there and some black poster board. I came back and I just used a double-sided tape to tape the stickers onto the poster board, so that way if I ever want to take them off or do anything with them, I still can. And then I put it in there, and it actually turned out way better than I thought. This is one of my favorite pieces I have just because it is so personal, and definitely would recommend if you have any stickers or anything else like that laying around to just put them in a frame, and it looks pretty good. So next to that, I have two more things that are from IKEA. So I have the LAC unit shelf and then the LAC floating shelf. So on the LAC unit shelf, I have my shoe collection. Now, like a lot of people back in COVID in 2021, I turned into a sneakerhead, and so I got a bunch of these cool shoes. And so this was a great way to display them over there in the corner where I'd usually have nothing else. I can just grab them and throw them on when I want to wear them, put them back up there. It's been great. And I definitely don't want to talk about how much these have probably depreciated in value since I bought them. And then next to that, on the LAC floating shelf, I have just kind of a collection of different items. So I started out with kind of a beach theme. I got most of these while I was on vacation in Cape Cod, like the sailboat and the surfboard. And then I have a picture of my girlfriend and I. And so that's kind of how it started out. And then I ended up getting some of these Legos as gifts. So I got the camera and the Game Boy, and the book I actually won in a raffle. And so admittedly, I should probably kind of pick one or the other, either have all the stuff on the right or all the stuff on the left, but I kind of didn't want to put anything away, so I fit them all up there. And now moving into the first 3D printed decorations, we have my plants. Now there really wasn't any shelf or anywhere to put these in my room where they're going to get good sunlight. So what I ended up doing was just 3D printing these like floating shelves that sit in the window, and then I also 3D printed the pots to put the plants in. Overall, it turned out really well. I don't love having the floating shelves, but there really was no other option, and I definitely like having the plants in my room. And for the next piece of decor, it is these two shelves that are right above my head and right above my desk. And these are the Moss Landa shelves from IKEA in the walnut finish. So on one shelf, I have this picture of a couple eyeballs. Now they are my girlfriend and I's eyeballs. We got this done in Chicago. They just take basically a super zoomed up picture of your eyeball. It is super cool. So we have that in a big frame on one shelf, and on the other shelf, I have this picture frame that has a iPhone 5 in it that's all disassembled. This is definitely a super cool picture frame, not only because I think that the iPhone 5 is one of the best looking and one of the coolest iPhones. I just love that boxy feel and look, but it was also the first ever phone that I ever got, so it has some extra sentimental value. And then next to it, I actually have a box with the iPhone 5 in it. It's not my exact phone. I unfortunately had to turn that in whenever I upgraded, but I went on eBay and bought one for like 35 bucks just to have one. So it's cool that you can look inside the frame and see that it's assembled, and then also use the phone right next to it. And for the last kind of decoration or utility item is this IKEA SCADIS pegboard. So on this, I just got a bunch of kind of random attachments and threw some things up there to look at, like my old keyboard and a DJ board. I have some things that I use every day, like my cologne up there, and then also just some notes and different reminders and things. One last thing I forgot to mention before moving on is right here. I don't know how I forgot it, but it's this little wall clock I got. I just got it walking through Walmart one day. I think it was on clearance for like 10 bucks, and it was a walnut finish like everything else over here, so I had to pick it up. Now that's all for decorations, so now we're going to move on to the different technology I have. So the first piece of technology is the Hatch alarm clock. Now this is something that I probably would have never bought for myself, but I am super glad to have been given it as a gift. Basically, if you don't know what a Hatch alarm clock is, it just shines a bright light to wake you up so that you're waking up to more natural sunlight, and plays more of a soothing wake up alarm instead of your standard iPhone alarm. It also allows you to set schedules for a nighttime and morning routine so that you don't have to go and set your alarm every night, which is a super nice feature. Now, yes, I know that you can do this on your iPhone. You could set an alarm and change the ringtone, but I never did, and I bet you haven't either. So it's just something that's definitely nice to have. And next up on top of my bed is this keyboard. This was a recent purchase. It is a old Apple keyboard from 2004, and it is in mint condition. I was walking through my local thrift store. I saw it sitting there for 15 bucks, and I was like, I just have to have this. Now for what I think is one of the coolest pieces of tech in my room is my 3D printer. Now this is my most recent Christmas gift. It was an amazing Christmas gift. I use this all the time for different things like different projects on this channel as you've seen, the plant pots as you've seen, and all kinds of different little things around the house that you would never be able to get essentially. Now when I first got this thing, I was all giddy to have it and wanted to set it up right in my room so I could watch it print all the time, which was cool. However, now if I want to do a long print or print something overnight, it's definitely not ideal to have it right next to where you're at all the time or where you sleep. And then below that, I have my home server. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I'm actually planning to put out a video in the near future about how I built my own home server and the different parts that I used for it. So tune in to a later video to learn more about that. And now moving on to one of the most important pieces of tech in any room, and that is the TV. This is the TCL QM6K Pro Costco Edition 55-inch TV. Now this is my first nice TV. Before this, obviously I can't have a huge or a nice TV in my dorm room, so I just had a little 32-inch Roku Walmart special, and I didn't know what I was missing out on until I unboxed this and got it set up. This TV is absolutely beautiful. It gets so much brighter. It has so many nicer colors, and it has full array local dimming, which basically just means that different spots of the TV and the whole thing can actually just shut off. So when it's dark, it actually looks dark instead of like a backlit gray. It's not an OLED by any means. That's way out of my price range right now. So it's not perfect blacks, but it looks very, very good. And to make it look even better, I have these Nanoleaf 4D light strips on the back of the TV. So as you can see, these light strips just match what's colored on the TV, gives you an even more immersive experience in your room and when you're watching the movie. When it's super dark, they actually turn all the way off if you have it in the right mode. And then when it gets bright, it basically lights up your whole room and makes the movie even better. And since they're Nanoleaf and the lights on my wall are also Nanoleaf, you can sync them together when they're in 4D mode, and basically it makes the entire room be what's on your TV. And now since the only other piece of tech in my room is on my desk, we are going to get into the desk setup portion of the video. Now, as you can see by just looking at it, you probably already know that this is the IKEA desk setup. So I have the Alex drawers with a top sitting on top of it, and the one I chose is actually the Carlby countertop. Now, one of the reasons that I chose this over the other ones is that it was bigger and more sturdy and kind of just overall looked nicer and more clean than some of the other cheaper options, I guess. And if you're in the budget, I would definitely recommend going with one of these upgraded tops. It is just way more sturdy and has a lot more room to spread everything out on my desk. Now to sit on top of the Alex drawers, I'm a taller guy, so it wasn't gonna work to just sit them straight on top. So I got these spacers off of Amazon. I screwed them into the top of the Alex drawer. And then since I do have the more sturdy desk, I just set it directly on top. So it's actually not bolted to the drawers at all. And I've never had any issue with it moving around or felt like it was gonna fall off or collapse or anything. As for the chair I'm sitting on, this is the Seho, I think, M18 off of Amazon. Nothing really specific about it. It's been a pretty nice chair. I got it on Prime Day for around $100, so it's a good chair for being on a budget. Now next is my monitor. This is the LG Ultra Gear 32 something something something. Basically, it's just a 32-inch monitor. Now, I do a little bit of gaming on my PlayStation, honestly not much anymore, so I wanted it to be a decent refresh rate, pretty big, and have a good resolution. So this is a 32-inch monitor, it's 2K, and it has 165 Hertz max refresh rate. And this is also something that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but I do know that I got a pretty good deal on it. And when I went and picked it up, I did make sure to bring a laptop and a carport so that I could plug it in and test it when I met up with them to make sure everything was working right. I definitely recommend doing this when buying anything at all off of Facebook Marketplace. Now for my keyboard and mouse setup, I have the Apple Magic Keyboard with the numpad and the MX Master 3. For the Apple keyboard, I actually didn't have to pay full price for this. Someone that I knew was getting a new MacBook and they were getting a free gift with it, and they didn't really want any of the free gifts. They already had AirPods and whatever else they were giving them. So I told them for a slightly discounted price, I'd buy the keyboard off them because I've been kind of wanting one and wasn't willing to pay full price for it. So that's how I ended up getting the keyboard. And for the mouse, I bought this a long, long time ago when I was still in high school, I believe. And it is still working. It has been a great mouse, lasted the test of time. Just a couple of days ago, the left click stopped working. It was only working about half the time. I clicked all the buttons. I looked up a bunch of stuff. I blew some air into it. Right now it's working, fingers crossed. So if it dies, it's been a good 6 years. So definitely would recommend this mouse and keyboard setup. Now to connect my laptop to my monitor, I am just using a little USB-C hub. It's not technically a dock. It's just a portable hub, but it's what I had, so it's what I use. So I basically just connect up my power and my HDMI cord, and then I can plug it in and use my laptop in clamshell mode and put it on my monitor. And off Amazon, I picked up this nice walnut laptop mount so that when I put it in clamshell mode, I can have it sit there and not take up really much room on my desk at all. And then next to that, I have my HomePod Mini. So I use that to control the different smart home things I have in my room. It is not great, as you know, Siri. Could do a little bit better, but I got it for Christmas one time and it's still a really good speaker, at least. Moving on to the other side, I have one of the Yeti Blue Ice microphones. Now I don't actually use this microphone, it's kind of just there for aesthetic. For whatever reason, my dad bought it for work one time and then was done using it and asked if I wanted it, so it kind of just looks good sitting there on my desk. Behind that I have my charger for my PlayStation controllers. Beside that I have another picture of my girlfriend and I, and then beside that I have one more plant that is also in a 3D printed pot. And then the last part that I really talked about still is the Alex drawers. These are super nice. They have a ton of storage. I have filled them to the absolute brim. And then when you pair these with having a 3D printer, I've printed out some Gridfinity bins so that I can keep them even more organized and have all my stuff stay just in the right spot. I absolutely love everything about my desk setup. Now, one thing that I just want to point out, just because it's kind of funny, so this bedroom only has 3 outlets in the whole thing. It has one right behind the TV, so that's only used for the TV. It has one right next to my bed, which is nice to have to charge my phone and everything. And then the last one is even further below the TV. So this means that this entire wall that my entire desk setup sits on, there is not an outlet across an entire wall. So basically, my only option for using an outlet was the one underneath the TV or the one next to my bed. The one next to my bed would have to cross the door, so that was a no-go. So all of this is run off of the outlet that is underneath my TV. And so what I ended up doing was I got a long extension cord and I ran it all the way along the baseboard, up and above my closet door, and down to the corner of my desk setup. And then I got some cable hiders to make it look somewhat decent. And honestly, completely knock on wood, with the amount of outlet extenders and extension cords I have in here, it has been a miracle that this hasn't caught on fire. I do have a fire extinguisher in my closet just in case that were to happen. So that basically sums up all of the furniture, the decorations, technology, and desk setup in my room. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and hopefully you guys got some tips or ideas on the different things that you want to add or not add to your own room setup. And as I said before, everything that I can find and remember will be linked in the description so you can easily get to it if you do want to purchase it. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.